everyone, my name is Jason from Game-Rave.com, and this is obviously Game-Rave TV. In past videos, I've talked about my love of certain case designs, different case designs for the same game, and magazine ads. But there's actually just enough games in a category I just made up to justify a new subset video. Since you read the title of the video before hitting play, you know that subset is based on those cheeky rogue graphic designers in the gaming industry. Before we jump into the games, a quick little history on template design. All professional packaging you see went through a trial and error process, and once everything was finally approved, a template is formed. From there, usually what is called a style guide or standards manual is written and illustrated so that every company you bring on board uses the exact same templates you do. It also lets them know what not to do with logos, artwork, etc. The PlayStation is no stranger to these graphic design staples, and my favorite rule of them all deals with the black bar on the front of the long box or long box manual. Essentially, the area underneath the Y in PlayStation was off limits unless your game was in 3D, or you got special permission from Sony. That's right, Sony was so anti-2D in the beginning that they even had separate rules for it in cover creations. For this episode, I wanted to give my salute to 5 PlayStation game graphic designers who said, to hell with that, we're doing our own way. At the number 5 spot is Critic, a Lawnchair longbox game also released on the Saturn. That fact is more than obvious when you look at Criticom's disc art. Notice anything strange? I'll give you a hint. That's right, the giant word PlayStation stuck on the bottom of the disc art. No other disc in the PlayStation library has this strange occurrence. The artist simply saw the Sega Saturn version artwork and compared notes and said, you know what, I like that look, and the rest is visual history. In our 4th spot of punchy artistic protagonists is Sony themselves. Remember how I mentioned that rule of the PlayStation word on the front of the packaging? The actual verbiage used in ignoring that rule was a violation and required Sony's permission. Clearly, they gave themselves that permission since Jumping Flash absolutely violates the logo type in the most blatant of ways, by being on top of it. While rebellious in its own right, it was also the most subtle and genius move the artistic group did. Within a quarter of an inch of violating space, the cover now explores the game's insane jumping heights by creating the effect of Robit towering over the wording. When you pair that with the floating platform overlapping the black barrier, it's a perfectly executed nod to a 3D world, even if it did break the rules. Coming at the number 3 spot is Disney's Hercules. Here's a situation where the artist probably had conflicting demands from Sony and Disney and decided to just do their own thing. The disc art features Hercules himself and Hades, but the problem is that within the laws of the template, Hades' face is obscured by the correctly placed PlayStation logo. Assuming there was backlash from Disney that their moneymaker was blocked, the artist in question simply moved the logo and the SRB rating to the bottom of the disc. A second rule that was broken involves this small line of copyright information. That should be located here, where all these company logos are. To round off the decision making, they also for some reason threw the compact disc logo way over here, when it should be in the bottom corner. When the game was eventually republished by Majesco, they corrected the disc artwork to comply with all of Sony's templates. While other CDs have had other oddball choices, like Criticom, none of them were as blatant with it as Hercules was. Coming in on the silver medal podium is the Dukes of Hazzard Greatest Hits Edition. A strange choice, I know, but it gets better every time I look at it. For those that don't collect or purchase Greatest Hits games, you'll need to know the following fact. When a Greatest Hits game was released on the original PlayStation, the disc art was stripped of its color palette, reduced to either just a black and white artwork or black ink on a clear background. When it came time for the Duke boys to come home on the Greatest Hits tour, South Peak's artist did something hysterical. They not only kept the original orange from the launch disc, but they deepened the hue and saturation of the ink so it was even more colorful than the original Black Label release. No other original PlayStation game took this approach to Greatest Hits disc artwork, and that kind of rebellion matches all too perfectly with our theme. Last, but definitely not least, is the absolute most stunningly beautiful FU to template design ever seen on the PlayStation console. It was a decision so ingenious, so mind-numbingly simple that it boggles my mind as a graphic designer that it took 8 years from the system launch for someone to try it. The one simple fact about our previous 4 entries is that their defiance is either hidden within the case or only visible from the front of the box. All of these acts are forgotten once the games are shelved. The company Mastiff, however, spotted this important fact and made the greatest decision in the 10 years of PlayStation releases. They colored the spine purple. That's right, out of almost 1,300 games, there is one and only one game that features a non-black spine, and it's a video game about the freaking Easter Bunny. Like a kick to an OCD sufferer's teeth, so long as the game is properly filed, its purple sheen shines brightly among the standard black releases. There's no escaping it, and there's no denying it. This clearly wasn't a mistake either, as the color matches the inside spine artwork as well as the disc art's purple hue. This ensures that no matter what you're looking for, or where on the shelf, your eyes will always be first drawn to the oddball standing out in the group. When it comes to rebellious graphic design, Easter Bunny's Day Out will always win by a hair. If you're looking to collect the subset, Jumping Flash will ruin your day financially. Easter Bunny and Hercules run about $20 each shipped, and the rest are all $10 or less. It's a great coffee table type subset, and one artist like myself can appreciate on multiple levels. And that does it for another episode. As always, comment below with any thoughts or stories, subscribe for more hijinks, and share with your friends. I will see all of you next week. Have a great weekend.